Hi, good afternoon, folks. In this video, I'm going to be looking at what I consider in my lifetime that I've seen with these eyes, the best 12 power forwards in my lifetime. Coming up. Okay, so let's get right into this. And yes, this is for all hockey fans, not just Sabre fans. Here we go. And folks, this is my opinion. Doesn't mean it has to match with yours, but it's all for fun. All right, and the number 12, I got Jason Arnott. Now, this was somebody I was hoping the Sabres were going to pick up in 2007, because this guy in 2000, I mean, if any of you that's seen the 2000 Stanley Cup seen what he did in that playoff run. This guy was playing with black eyes, and he was just, for me, the perfect representation of a clutch power forward. And he's, of course, scored the Stanley Cup winning goal in overtime against Dallas, when Dallas were defending champions, and Jersey beat them in Dallas, Game 6, you might recall. In his career, 1,244 games, 417 goals, very impressive numbers. All these guys have to have impressive numbers also. 521 assists, 938 points. Number 11. Some of you might not know him, some of you might. Tim Kerr. This guy in the 80s had four straight 50 goal seasons for the Flyers, and he was just really I wouldn't say a gentleman power forward, but a very subtle power forward. And he was just I found such a clutch goal scorer too. You know, he reminded me a lot of other names I'm going to put up here eventually. But Tim Kerr, very impressive numbers. 655. I should go over one thing. Arnott was 6'5", 220. I think he's the biggest man I have on here. 6'5", yeah. And Tim Kerr was 6'3", 225. 655 games, 370 goals, 304 assists, 674 points. Number 10. Yeah, I put the top 12 because I had to have these 12 names on here. I couldn't in good conscience not have these 12 names on here. Whether it be for clutch goal scoring, big hits that we remember in the playoffs, so on and so on and so on. Number 10, I got Peter Forsberg. And yes, he was a power forward. He wasn't the biggest guy. He was 6 foot 205, but this guy threw his weight around. He wasn't shy. And I believe it costed him a lot of injuries. You know, he just played a very physical game. Very clutch guy. You know, very, very clutch guy. I mean, this was one spectacular fun player to watch. Eh? I mean, most of you that are watching this have seen Peter Forsberg. 708 games, 249 goals, 636 assists. And he's got the lowest goal count of everybody here and one of the smallest, but Peter Forsberg had to make this list. He had to. 636 assists, 885 points. Very respectable career, and well deserving to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, you know. Number 9. My God, I hated this guy. Gary Roberts. But if that doesn't exemplify sheer will when a player's on the ice, I don't know what does. Gary Roberts was not scared to tangle with anybody at any time, in any place, in any situation, eh? You just hated this guy as a Sabres fan. You know, I believe he had his best year on the Leafs. I know he had his big year in Calgary, but his best years were in Toronto, you know. He came back from that head injury like a champ, and he, thank God he did, because my God, I remember when he finally hung it up and called it a career, I was just so happy that, you know, he was gone, like at the time, you know. Anyway, his numbers, 1,224 games, which is pretty incredible when you consider what he went through with the head injury. 438 goals, 471 assists, 909 points. Fantastic career. Amazing career. And no, I don't believe he's in the Hall of Fame. I believe he should be, but I'm very sure he's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. There's a few guys here that aren't. Kerr, Arnott, Roberts. And there'll be one more I'm going to be putting up here very soon that I believe should be in the Hall of Fame also that's not, but hey, what do I know? All right, number 8. Where are you, number 8? There you are. My God, this guy. The smallest guy I'm putting up here. But I don't think any of you will disagree he should make this list. 5'11", 197-pound Wendell Clark. Tell me if there's any guy that you were sure under 6 foot that could punch out Zdeno Chara, would be this guy. I mean, this guy, didn't he have like something like it was like 20 fights in his first 40 games one year or something? It was just insane. This guy was just, he's on the ice, you feel like you're going to win. You know, he's on the ice, they're intimidated, they're scared. Whoever you're playing, wherever they're playing, you just know you got to keep your heads up with this guy on the ice because he's going to take your head off when you're not looking. 793 games, 330 goals, 234 assists, 564 points. He has the lowest point total of everybody, but he's not even, I can't even put him lower than 8th. These other guys I'm going to put up here, I had no choice to put him up over Clark, but my God, if Clark would have had like a 500 goal career, he'd be in the top 3. He was amazing. All right, number 7. And yeah, I really had to think about this and feel right about the order I put them in, you know? And I'm sorry if there's anybody that you loved, I might have forgot or not put on there. There's names here I put like, you know, like I'll mention after I didn't put up on here. Clark Gillies, I put as number 7, part of that Islander dynasty. He was the power forward that led the team. And, you know, it took me a while to understand why he made the Hockey Hall of Fame, but the more I think back to that era, how important of a component he was on that dynasty, yeah, Clark Gillies was the bruiser of the NHL once upon a time, you know. He wasn't a big scrapper, but he, you know, if you get caught anywhere with your head down, look out, you know. 958 games, 319 goals, 378 assists for 697 points. Very solid career. But, you know, Gillies made the Hall of Fame and Wendell Clark didn't. Kind of irks me. Just one of those things. All right, number 6. The Moose, Mark Messier. I got him as number 6. Yeah, Ranger fans, calm down. And he's still an Oiler, whether you like it or not. You know, Messier, oh, and let me go over Gillies, 6'3", 210. I didn't mention that, 6'3", 210. Messier was 6'1", 110, but he played a lot bigger, right? He did. That's because Messier wasn't scared to take the body. Didn't matter who's out there. He didn't care. He'd give up a goal if it meant taking somebody's lights out on the boards. He played very, very, very hard-nosed game. I remember when he first came into the NHL, I thought this was the guy that was going to be like the Dave Semenko of Edmonton. I really did. I didn't know he was going to turn into this fabulous, like, look at his numbers, 1,756 games. Christ, talk about durable. 694 goals, 200 less than Gretzky in goals, imagine. 1,193 assists, 887 points. My God, insane. If you would have told me back in 1980 he was going to have a career like this, I was no chance. I thought this guy was just going to be a goon because he was tough, you know? I didn't know he was going to have these kind of numbers. Number 5. I had to put him over Messier because he had more grit, more bite to his game, I found. Jerome Mcginla. And I wasn't a big Mcginla fan. I thought he was overpaid at one time, but as his career wound down, and as he faded away into the sunset, so to say, of the NHL, what a career, hey? What a career. My God, this guy was fabulous. He really was. 6'1", 210, just like Messier. 1,554 games. Wow, hey? 625 goals, 675 assists, 1,300 points, tough as hell. Do you guys ever remember Mcginla backing down in a fight ever once? You know? Tough as hell. And you know what? He was a pretty clutch player too. And now looking back, now that Tampa Bay got that cup, because I was cheering for Tampa Bay in 2004. I wish now Calgary would have got that 2004 cup for him. I wish they would have got it now, you know? But you thought Mcginla would get another chance. Remember, back then, everybody's picking Calgary the next year, and, well, then there was the lockout. All right, number 4. Yeah, I didn't put the top 3 on purpose. You'll see later. I don't want people guessing. Flyer fans will be happy with that one. Eric Lindros. He's got to go there. Whether you hated him or not, whether you thought he was overrated or not, I thought he was overrated. I did. But as a power forward, I'd be underrating him, putting him lower. This was his career, folks. This was his game. This board right here. That was Eric Lindros. You know, he wasn't the 500 goal guy. He would have been if he would have stayed healthy. But this guy played such a hard-nosed game and such a physical game. Of course, there was going to be injuries, right? This is part of the game of these tough guys that play hard and on the boards. You know, these are grinders too. You know, it's yeah. Anyway, a lot of people in Quebec. And I want to set the record straight because I live out here in Quebec and I know the story behind the whole Lindros. So he didn't want to not go there because they're French. He didn't want to go there because he didn't want any part to do with their ownership and management that was running the show. Dig into it, you'll see. 6'4", 230, Eric Lindros. You know, I would say he had an amazing career. He didn't. It was cut short. 760 games, 372 goals, 493 assists, 865 points. Gifted defensively. He could hit as good as anybody that I've ever seen. I do have to say that about him. He could. It's just that, you know, in Canada, I'm going to tell you the disappointment with this guy is we expected him to be the next Wayne Gretzky. This is the way they wrote him up. They wrote him up like he's going to be the mixture of Mark Messier and Gretzky in this big body. This is the way they wrote him up. They wrote him up like he's going to come in and get 1,000 goals. I mean, they did. You know, which wasn't fair to him, if you think about it. All right, number 3. And I fought with number 2 and 3. I did. Who to put where, but I have to go this route. I just can't. You know, I gotta be in good conscience when I. Even if people disagree, it doesn't matter because you know what? That's the law of averages, folks. There's people are going to be happy, people that are not happy. It's the law of averages. It means I'm doing something right if I'm pissing people off too, right? All right. I had to put him number 3. I thought about number 2, Brendan Shanahan. His career was just too solid not to put him in the top 3. It was just too solid. He meant too much to that Detroit era. Sorry, not a dynasty. Not a dynasty, Detroit. You weren't a dynasty. You had an era, not a dynasty. 2 in a row. Sorry, I stick with my vows when it comes to the 3 in a row thing. So Shanahan, 1,524 games, 656 goals. You know, amazing numbers, eh? 698 assists. When you remember how dirty this guy was, too, he wasn't a clean player. Then they put him in the, you know, maybe it made sense that he was in charge of player safety because they got some crazy guy running the show. 1,354 points, amazing career. I mean, you know, no doubt he should be on this board, right? I mean, come on. Whether you hated him or not, the guy was phenomenal. Big piece in the Detroit era, for sure, and all those Stanley Cups. Come on. Number 2. Let me get the stats on there. Here we go. I had to put Cam Neely number 2. I would have been trying to impress people or something if I didn't. I know some of you hated him, but sorry, Cam Neely has to be number 2. This guy's hits. You know what? They got him listed. Get this too. Shanahan, Lindros 6'4", 230. Sorry, I keep forgetting this. And Shanahan 6'3", 220. You know, it's kind of average, normal size, right? For power forwards, that is. And then you got Cam Neely. They have him listed at 6'1", 215. I guarantee you he was not 215 in his career. I guarantee you he was more like 200. He was. But it doesn't say that, but I know. I seen him. I seen his whole career. And sorry, Vancouver, trading this guy for Peterson? Really? Oh, God. You must have been pulling your hair out when you seen what this guy became. Oh, my God. And if you look at that trade, folks, go back and check it sometime, the Neely for Peterson trade. I believe they also gave up a first rounder with it. And in that trade, if you look at Peterson's numbers, you'll say, okay, it kind of makes sense. You know, they're getting kind of a bona fide guy that can get 30 goals. And I think he had one good year with Vancouver, like 28 goals or something. What a joke. Terrible trade. Worst trade in their history, probably. So, number one, and I can't put anybody else there. I just can't. It doesn't make sense if I do. It just isn't right. I've got to go with what I know is the right answer. And believe me, I would have loved to put Neely as number one because his hits were bruising. Oh my God. But this is a mixture of everything combined. I'm talking greatest power forward ever, not the hardest hitting power forward ever. But he's right up there. Alex Ovechkin. Folks, this is the greatest power forward, in my opinion, in NHL history. And look, I haven't mentioned like Gordie Howe and Rocket Richard. Those were power forwards. You know, people don't consider Richard power forward. Trust me, he was. Watch the old games. Ovechkin has to be number one. His numbers are insane. Is he the greatest goal scorer ever? Not a chance. No, ever. He'll never be. Even if he gets 895. In my books, he'll never be the greatest goal scorer in history, no. Greatest power forward, it's a joke. It's not even close in my books. If Cam Neely could have played another 500 games, maybe he'd be up there, but Alex Ovechkin has to be number one on this list. 1,166 games, 712 goals, 581 assists, 1,293 points when I wrote it down on here. As far as I know, he's scoring right now. God, 6'3", 238. If I'm right, he's the heaviest, eh? Yeah, he's the heaviest on this board too. Good God. And you know, you're going to get people saying, well, he's not a power forward. Then what is? If that's not a power forward, you tell me what is. You've seen the hits this guy's laid out in his career. How many times have you screamed when he's crushed somebody on the boards? Come on. It's the greatest power forward I've ever seen. No doubt. And look, I'll run through some names. You know, like there's Phil Esposito. But Phil Esposito was more like, I don't know, kind of a Dave Andrewchuk type. He'd park himself in front of the net and score, and he used his big body, and Jagr was kind of like that later on in his career. You can't put guys like Mario and Jagr on here because they're finesse. If I was going to put the best finesse players of all time, that's a whole different list, right? And then you got Al Secord. Some of you might remember him. I put down Rick Tarkett, Todd Bertuzzi. I mean, you know, Bill Guerin. There's just a few names I came up with in my head, just a few. And that's just a few. I know there's others I've forgotten about, but believe me, I really broke this down, and I had to break it into 12. I had to. There's just no way around it. So that's it. I mean, let me know what you think. I mean, I'm sure you guys have your own favorites that are maybe not there, you know, and you know, that's just the way it's going to be with lists like this. You're never going to be happy. Come on. Your favorite player is like, oh, wait a minute. Why is Messier number 6? The Ranger fans will ask. Well, the reason why I got Messier number 6 is because Mcginla, Lindros, Shanahan, Neely, and Ovechkin, in my opinion, were better power forwards. No other reason. Now, if we're talking best captains in history, Messier would be up here. I wouldn't put him number 1, but he'd be up there. You know? So that's it. I want to leave it at that. I'll kill the video right there. I want to do something for all the fans for a change. I haven't done that yet. I'll do, you know, eventually I'll do like, I believe like the 10 most clutch playoff performances. I don't know, things like that. Or 10 eventually I'm going to do the top, no, I'll go top 12. I like top 12. I'm going to go top 12 goal scorers of all time eventually, I believe, you know. And that's it. That's where it ends, folks. So complain, get mad and say this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or this guy guts my list. You know, who knows? And at that, I will see you folks later. There's a rumor going around right now that the Sabres game is postponed, so I got to go check this out and see. And if there is, I'm coming right back in. I'm doing a mini video to report that. So look, folks, take care of yourself. I hope you had fun with this like I did. A lot of memories here too, eh? A lot of fun memories, you know? It's funny how you hate these guys during their career and then when they're retired, you miss them, eh? I don't know if you feel that way about some players. I do. All right, God bless, take care. I'll see you soon.